Derek Dixon showing messages about Tyler Perry trying to sell a soul to the Illuminati. They got another one. Tyler Perry has now joined a bunch of the leading black icons that have been charged with sexual assault, like R. Kelly, Russell Simmons, Bill Cosby, Shannon Sharp, and so forth. So are black men these big sexual beasts, or are we just targets for people trying to get that bag? Derek Dixon, who played in Tyler Perry's TV show The Oval, just released a flood of text messages of Tyler Perry trying to turn him out. So much so that he filed a $260 million lawsuit. Damn, Tyler, you was being super thirsty, man. Let's check out some of these text messages. This is Tyler Perry. Nice. Santa Monica is nice. I'm glad you're going out there. How is your no? Is it stronger? You got to have a strong no. And then Derek Dixon says, yes, it's strong. My mom literally thinks I'm going to sell my soul to the Illuminati. She heard Kanye say that it's real. Tyler Perry. Well, I don't think so, but I do think that you have to be able to say no and make it clear. And then Derek Dixon comes back and say, I only say yes if it gets me an Oscar. Just kidding, just kidding. And then he says, I hear you. So like I said, he's leading him on to believe that it's a possibility that you could get with him, at the right price. That's how I got out of it. All right, let's go to some other messages between those two. Hold on, let's see. All right, this next one says, I guess Derek Dixon must have posted a picture with him and someone else. And Tyler Perry commented on, he says, why did that photo just make me jealous? You two together. Ha ha. I don't know. It's just Brad. LOL. And then Tyler Perry says, LOL. He just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in. And now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. And then Tyler Perry says, thick Derek, get that Chipotle. And then he said, ha ha. You could tell from that photo. And it says, no, I can only tell from your jeans. And then, haha, I measure too. So like I said, Tyler Perry is definitely hitting on this guy. And the guy is leading Tyler Perry on a little bit to making it seem as though he may have a possibility if he plays his cards right. Females do this all the time. They lead people on so they can manipulate. And this is kind of what, what hoes do with tricks. They make them think that they're, that these guys are the only person in the world. They tell them what they want to hear and things like that. And they manipulate them and they finesse them out of money. Tonight on Thursday Night Therapy, we discuss that and why does who I want don't want me. Let's talk about it. What's happening?
That's right, folks. Tonight we discuss dating in 2025. Why don't I like who likes me? Welcome in to Thursday Night Therapy. Do us a favor, guys. Take a moment to like, share, subscribe to the channel so that anytime we drop something new, anytime we go live, you guys are in the know. We appreciate anyone viewing. Thanks a ton. Before we jump into tonight's topic, dating in 2025, why don't I like who likes me? We got to talk about this current event. Kat, what are your thoughts on what you just saw? That's crazy.
On what I saw in the opening, I do believe that he was not giving clear signals. He was actually leading Tyler on, because I would have just said, if it's a hard no, dude, like you mentioned in my jeans, we ain't doing it. But I don't believe it's kind of held to just women, because because Tyler's obviously a man. I think it's just held to who's ever being the dominant force, whoever wants it more, So that's my thought on it.
Gotcha. Chuck, I know you did a lot on the intro, man, but just kind of speaking candidly, man, what are your thoughts on this Tyler Perry situation? I know it's new, but this is crazy to hear.
Man, right, exactly. We all Tyler Perry was always suspect. You know what I'm saying? Because as we go on and talk about his movies, most of his movies that he makes are by majority about the plight of the black woman. You know what I'm saying? And it always has a evil guy that's in the mix, like a guy that's just totally evil, a black dude that's come on. It's very seldomly that he has a functional black guy in the movie. But he's always got an evil black guy in the movie, and it makes everybody hates him. So he kind of plays along with that type, to make women not like men. So listen, let's go. I'm gonna read a little bit. We're gonna read a little bit more into a couple more of the notes that he put out, and then we're gonna talk about it. Hold on one second. Here we go. Let's go to one more note. Let me see. Okay, this is another one. Tyler Perry. I hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind soon. And then he goes on to say, well, it's not this person, but yes, I want that too. I'm working on it. Therapy is helping. So I guess he sounds like he's confused sexually, and Tyler Perry is the person that he's actually going to, and Tyler Perry is trying to get him out of his shell. I think, like I said, to Tyler Perry want to hit that. So that's what it sounds like. Okay. Let's go to one more. Okay. Really weird. He's like, I didn't have any contact. What are you talking about? I haven't been touched in months. And then Derek Dixon comes back. Oh, you mean touching? I thought you meant by around people. And then and then Tyler Perry says Jacob. I guess that's one of the characters. And then the guy says, I love that you only say that when I'm being stupid. LOL. I guess Jacob's the dumbass version of me. So like I said, man, it's definitely something going on here, man, that Tyler Perry and this guy had a flirtatious thing going on. Like I said, Tyler Perry put him on. Tyler Perry can't cut his water off if he wanted to. But like I said, man, they're definitely flirting back and forth, man. Tyler Perry is really going in, trying to get on his little young tender or whatever the case may be, which is very stupid because, like I said, once you put text in the atmosphere, you can never bring it back. I don't understand why Tyler Perry is texting somebody, and this is gay, flirtatious acts that he's doing, and it's obvious. Like I said, I think after a while, people get so comfortable with being around somebody that they start to open up. It's just human nature. He's been around this guy for years. He thinks that, he could trust this guy, but you can't trust nobody when you're the top dog. So don't never give nobody ammo. If anything, even if you don't do nothing, somebody could say you did it. But if they got a little bit of text behind it, you know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of times when you could deceive the masses by mixing truth with falsehood. So if you got any type of truth, like, with you guys flirting, then you could take it to another level and say, hey, see, he was flirting with me. And then next time I seen him, he grabbed my butt, he grabbed my penis, whatever. So, man, you got too much to lose, man. So, it got to be lonely being at the top, man, because everybody around you could be a potential person that could try to bring you down. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. See what I'm saying? So,
that was a mouthful.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but I'm just saying I had to, we had to break it down. I mean, what the hell is wrong with Tyler Perry, dog?
I mean, but reading the text messages, it doesn't seem that Tyler was wanting more than just, a relationship, a connection. If that person did not want that connection, we should have seen that somewhere in the text message. Like, hey, this is getting a little bit too in depth. That's not me. Thank you. Cut it off. But the fact that they're going back and forth, he's being flirtatious and he's picking up what Tyler's dropping. So I don't see where there's really a problem. That's no different than a man texting me. And I had that, somebody found my number in their phone and was like, hey, dear, beautiful. I'm like, who you calling? Like, who you texting? And I immediately shut it down. Hey, can I get to know you further? No, I'm not available. That's all that person had to do is open their mouth and say, like, Tyler, that's not my thing. And I'm sure he would have stopped. But to file a suit on somebody that's basically saying I'm attracted to you, I think that's kind of shady. That to me shows.
Man, yeah, they got him.
Yeah,
they got him. That's what happened. This is a clear case setup. But before I go deep into that, I got to get on Chuck for a second. Chuck.
What?
Why you pick that picture of Tyler Perry, man?
What
of all the pictures of Tyler Perry, bro. Why you pick that picture, bro? So this is clearly a setup because this is game. You know what I mean? Any nigga who kick game, me and Chuck, we know we didn't kick game with the text message before. Tyler kicking game. We all peeped that. And then you, Kat, you done been on the receiving end on the other side. You don't say stuff like, oh, I guess that's my dumbass character, or haha, yeah, therapy's helping, to a nigga who pursuing you or coming at you on some shit. So, man, buddy took Tyler and he roped him into a situation that he can't get out. And this lawsuit, this was always the plan. And that's why he did the things that he did. Tyler Perry was probably of the understanding that this man has been telling me about struggles with his sexuality. There's no way he gonna leak our text message thread.
Right.
he got skin in the game too. So you fucking thought he was
Like
he's risking
he's risking his whole career. People will look at him and be like, if you did this, and I don't see anything explicit in those text messages that's like, you can't have this role if you don't, roll over and poke it out. He's really just having conversation. And so this person, unless there's something else that we're not seeing, he really is putting his career at risk. Why do that?
I promise you that the intent was to blackmail and to not even get this far. I promise you, because like we talked about in the intro, Chuck said that Tyler Perry was suspect. He gave some reasons. We all have known Tyler Perry was suspect. It was for different reasons though. But I mean, he moved like a suspect, nigga. He talked like a suspect, nigga. We ain't never seen him with no women. Like, we've all kind of known that Tyler was suspect. So I think that maybe he thought the threat of outing Tyler was gonna get him some money, but we got here. So I don't know if Tyler was. You would imagine they gave Tyler a chance before they went here. That they spoke to him and said, "This is what we doing. This is what we want." Before they went here, and it sounded like bro said, "Do your thing, Wody."
That's how I interpret it. Like, I think that Tyler is really confident in what conversations were going back and forth, and he is like, if you got to do that, do it, and we'll see where the chips fall. But his sexuality shouldn't be anything. If he's talking to another male and that male is like, hey, that's not my thing, that's all he had to say. That should have been like the first thing that you say, like, hey, what you saying to me? I literally just had this conversation with a friend, and he said his friend was literally like showing female tendencies, and he's like, I have to shut that down. Like, I don't like how it makes me feel, and I was like, well, just be kind, because you just never know what somebody's going through. Hence the therapy that person is going through, in the text messages with Tyler. But he could have just told Tyler, like, dude, I'm just not the one.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was definitely a manipulative play that he was doing to get what he wanted. Like I said, females do it all the time. Tyler was treating him like, if he was straight, this would be like a young. If he was a young female, he would be treating this is what they do to young females, like you just said. But see, the thing is that I just don't understand is this: like, if you have much more to lose than the other person, then the military. Let's look at the military guidelines, right? They have guidelines saying that you should never socialize with your subordinates, right? Because no matter how you think that it might be innocent or whatever the case may be, that since you are an authority figure, that anything that you do with the relationship can affect their job or their placement or whatever the case may be. So it's not good to socialize with people that are under you that you are under control of. So even if like you get into a relationship, y'all break up, then now all of a sudden 9 months later, you don't have a job no more. They're gonna automatically come back at you with malice and say that, hey, it's because he was making advances, this and that. So just to cut that off, there are certain things and guidelines that people use, and people need to use this in everyday life, because as you see right here, if you got something to lose, they coming at you. And remember, as Black men, we are low-hanging fruit. It's easy to put the tag of sexual harassment on us. They look at us as sexual beasts. Our penis is one of our greatest assets, but it also is the biggest thing that gets us in trouble as well. So we got to watch who we hitting, who we talking to. It's easy for somebody to just say something. You can misconstrue things. That's just like with the Shannon Sharp thing. We done been through it, man. All of our top icons then hit the dust, man. Russell Simmons is out of the country, dog, just because it's an allegation. You know what I'm saying? It's too easy to put a sexual assault tag on a Black man these days. It's like it's worse than the 1960s, because you ain't even got to even hardly, you could do this shit through text. You ain't even across the motherfucker.
Go ahead, Kat.
I still think he keeps saying, because women, I still think it's a person, because Tyler is not a woman.
No, I didn't say Tyler was a woman. I'm just saying, like, normally it's a male-female situation, but in this case, it's male on male. That's all I'm saying. It's the same game, but it's just a homosexual type of manipulation. That's all I'm saying.
Well, man, and that's my thing is I think that naturally as humans, we do some projecting. And I think that one message that I heard related to Tyler Perry and talking about finding that person to love you and hold you, and the long message that he went into, I think he may have been doing some projecting there. If you think about it, man, Tyler Perry has everything. Literally. I seen this nigga with a fucking remote airplane. You seen that
Yeah,
online yet? He got a
I
big
seen
ass
it.
fucking airplane. It's a remote, but it's like it's huge. He has everything.
Except someone to share with.
I have yet to see him with someone who it was like, oh wow, a romantic love. So I think that the old boy found his weak spot. Tyler got everything but that. And if you spend 2 years on it, I mean, you can exploit that as somebody's weakness. And he found it. And I think that he did it all on purpose. There's no way that you do all of that and then you turn around and put this kind of lawsuit against Tyler Perry, because the reality is, just based on what I just said about the man not having anybody to share it with, if you would have been the man to share it with, you would have got more than what you're suing for. So it had to be on purpose from jump, bro. You ain't fooling me.
Right.
And so I don't see where that was any type of manipulation or, you know, what did my son say? Click farm. I think that's the new thing that kids are using. Like, so it wasn't like a switch and bait type thing. I really think that he was having a conversation with somebody that he felt he could share something with, because as you said, yes, the low-hanging fruit, the black man, all that plight, but I also think it's when it comes to the financial status of who Tyler Perry is, it's a name, it's a brand. And if anybody is going to try to take that down, then yes. But to your other point, like, I would have probably did 2 years of being in a relationship, because it would have amounted to more than this lawsuit.
Crazy.
Right. But
Crazy.
again, that segue us into our topic. You're right.
Sure.
That definitely would have been a more benefit to him to be with Tyler Perry and to receive all the, you know, benefits. You know what I'm saying? But did Tyler Perry like somebody who liked him? Did this guy who was a little tenderoni in Tyler Perry's eyes want to get with some big old gorilla Negro? I don't think he did. You know what I'm saying? He probably wasn't attracted to Tyler Perry. He probably wanted somebody, you know, maybe he might have been the top, or the other dude was bottom, you know, however the dynamic goes. But like I said, our topic tonight is why don't I like who likes me? And you know, and I just want to just say, like, by nature, we always want stuff that we can't get a lot of times. And because, you know, getting the stuff that we get, you know, we've already had it, and it can be boring. So we want to step ourselves up to another level. That's why games get harder as they go and things like that, because it's human nature for us to want and to acquire things that we don't necessarily, you know, that we necessarily might be a challenge, or it may be beyond our reach. And then, you know, and after a while, it feels a little bit more gratifying if you do get with somebody who you might have thought that was unattainable. Let me just give you an example. I met this chick back in, like, I'll say 2008, right? Something like that, right? Shortly after my divorce. And bro, she was from New York. It took me 3 years to hit that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to systematically, you know what I'm saying, just drop little seeds on her, and seeds until I eventually broke her down, and then she was mine. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it was worth the wait, dog. I ain't even gonna lie. You feel me? So you know what I'm saying? And in that instance, like I said, it was just mentally, since it wasn't easy to attain. Once I got it, it felt like one of the greatest feelings I ever had. You feel me? So I just think that a lot of times it's just human nature for us to just acquire something or someone that is unattainable.
That's funny, bro. That is hilarious. That was 3 years, bro?
Man, bro, it took me 3 years. And like I said, bro, I used all my science, everything, dog. She was a tough nut to crack. You know what I'm saying?
That's
because
hilarious,
she had
bro.
some issues from childhood and things like that. She had problems trusting men. I had to build my trust and everything with her and make sure that, you know what I'm saying, she felt comfortable with me and everything. And then, you know, hey, one thing led to another.
Once you got the smash, did you stick with it?
I mean, we still cool. You know what I'm saying? But okay, let me tell you this. She has too many issues from childhood that still lingers
But
on
you
now.
knew
Like,
those issues were there before you smashed.
right, but
You
I'm
still-
saying, listen, but with me, if you look at my social media and stuff like that, and you see like a lot of like, me traveling and things like that, there was still a part in her that I couldn't reach. She was not going to be trusting to me because she's seen that, you know, a lot of ladies was liking me and things like that. She's seen how I kind of moved, but she was still comfortable enough with me to let me hit it. You know what I'm saying? But she still was insecure. So I couldn't get past that.
Okay, so here's
You know
the
what I'm saying?
accountability piece, and this who you like and don't like you. You had the opportunity to be like, you know what? She has too many traumas, issues, whatever the case may be, something that you're not willing to necessarily be able to help her grow from, but you still want to get the cookie. So, if I was her, I would have been like, I trusted you, I let you in, and then I finally gave you that intimacy, and then you tell me you can't deal with it. Why didn't you just leave me alone from the beginning?
I didn't tell her that.
But you just said it right here. You just said it right here, like you couldn't deal, you couldn't get through some things. So maybe you didn't vocalize that to her, but internally, you said that wasn't something you could deal with, but you literally pursued her for, you said 3 years, 2 years to get some
3 years, yeah.
3 years to get some nookie, just to tell somebody, get out my face.
I didn't say it didn't even happen like that. Like I told you, that she had so many internal issues. It took her like, I used to have like a shop, you know what I'm saying? Like on my second shop, she used to like come over to the shop and like check, like just to come over and chill with me. So she would like check out the women, my customers that was coming in there and how they was flirting with me and stuff like that. And she was just like, she even to this day, she just don't trust men. She's traumatized to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Like where she's not going to give
you before she gave you the cookie though.
She trusted me enough to know that I wasn't going to dog her after I hit her. You feel me?
Did she have these issues before she gave
plus, listen, it's human nature. Like, you know, when you're around somebody long enough, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have an itch that's gonna need to be scratched. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's on both sides.
It was just exactly. So it's just a matter of me just kicking them. Like, you know, we started off, we went on little walks, had conversations. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even talking about, I didn't even mention sex at all. But it just took a long time. She was just a tough nut to crack. And
yeah,
you know what
y'all
I'm saying?
kicked it and it didn't work.
That's all. Yeah,
but that's
so,
the thing.
You know,
but
I didn't dog her though.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I mean, a lot of the times it takes more than just looking good. You know, and a lot of the time we mix up that initial attraction with having value to that person. An initial attraction will take you a long way. An initial attraction will get you dates and compliments and sexy talk and all that other shit. And damn, initial attraction will get you a lot out of a person. But once you actually spend time with a person, a lot of the time that reveals where you match or don't match. And that also reveals where people got to work on themselves. Unfortunately, most people, you catch that? Most people who have trust issues aren't going to get the person that they want. So we talk about why don't I like who likes me? So listen, dating in 2025 is one of them things that a lot of us have experienced or that you hear a lot of talk about. You've got the men versus the women out here and a lot of stuff going on. But that doesn't stop us from having conversations or mingle or meeting people that we like. You know, Tyler Perry in his situation is an example of that. And I think everyone out here who's maybe single or dating or whatever the case is all experience it. Everybody's still talking. It's not like women are just not dealing with men at all. It's not like men just aren't dealing with women at all. There's a mismatch a lot of the times where men want women that they can't get. Women want men that they can't get. The women that certain men have access to, they don't want. The men that women have access to, they don't want. And it's just a mismatch there. And we're seeing that a ton out here. Kat, you got something on that?
I was going to say, yeah, because, you know, I in my personal life, I've gone through that situation. And I've met somebody that I like them. I'm glad that there's no intimacy because I'm getting to know them. to know if I really, what my like is actually building up to. Because sexually, I know that attraction is there, but I don't need to cross boundaries, especially if I don't know where the person's head is at. You should date with intention. Because when you do let your guard down and you let somebody get the cookie, I don't know. I can't speak for every woman, can't speak for every man, but that to me is a deep, that's a touch. That's like, you don't share your body with everybody. So when you finally get to that point of like wanting to be intimate sexually with somebody, I want to really like them. I want to know that it's going to go somewhere, because that's the worst feeling, is for somebody to get up out of your bed, or you get up out of their bed, and there's no clear intention of where you're going. So you're left with, what are they doing? Are you sleeping with somebody else? Are you thinking about me? That's the shit that we go through. So.
Yep, great description, and you hit the nail 100% on the head. That's the right way to do it, and a lot of us, unfortunately, especially youngsters, do it the wrong way. But you're right. Taking the time to get to know a person before you cross the line with certain things, intimacy-wise, gives you an opportunity to make your decisions with a clear mind, to make sure that you really like this person. Oftentimes, women will give their bodies to a man, and then from there live on the hope that he is who they want. I hope he's good with this. I hope he takes care of that. I hope he's gonna do this for me, etc., etc. You ain't gotta hope if he ain't gave him no draws, baby.
Right.
Before you get draws,
I sleep very well at night. I sleep very well at night, knowing that if I don't hear from this person, I just don't hear from them. And if they're busy, they're busy. But I don't have that desire, like, oh my goodness, women tend to internalize when a man doesn't call them back. Was it good? Was it wet? Was I, did it feel like all those things in our head that we sit with when a man does not call us back to say, like, hey, can we go out? Can we do this? Yeah, those insecurities creep in. And it's just literally from sitting in silence. Silence is a woman's sometimes worst enemy. If you are dating with intention and you're dating with somebody you actually like and you could see something with, and you keep that intimacy out of it, I think it gives you a chance to be like, do I like how this person chews their food? Like the simple shit. Like, I'm going to have to watch this person chew their fucking food every day. And do I like that? Or am I going to like how they leave the toilet seat up? Or you get to see those things rather than, he got a big dick. He made me feel good, but he doesn't make me feel good after sex. That's ridiculous, So.
Right. That's true. Okay, so listen. So we're at we're close to the halfway point. We want everybody to please like and subscribe to this channel. We appreciate it. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything, or if you have any comments, or just about titles or anything or whatever, we can answer them, and you can contact us at theloveandpainshow@gmail.com with any questions or comments or whatever, or suggestions or whatever. So we appreciate that. Okay, so let's go. So listen, yes. I just want to say too that
mind if I take my chicken out the oven?
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
You can come with me.
No, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay.
So I just want to say too, like when I did actually know that I wasn't going to be able to hit old girl, it was like, it made me like, oh, okay, you ain't gonna let me hit? Okay, huh? It made me start thinking like, how can I, what could I? So I started, just doing little things, staying in contact, keeping a rapport the whole time until, it finally did that. Now, listen, I think that also, and hopefully Kat can hear this, right? Now, one of the reasons why I think that why don't I likes me, and we talked about Kevin Samuels last week. He came up with a rating system. He told you to rate yourself between 1 and 10. You can't use 7. And where do you rate yourself without makeup on, right? And as you've seen, a lot of women on there overrated themselves. Even women like that was just, they were not attractive. They still thought they was fine. You know what I'm saying? And I think they felt as though they should have someone that wasn't on their level. And like I said, 9 times out of 10 in life, you're going to attract what you are. You're not going to get anything better than what you are normally. It might be an exception, but not the rule. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep it real on where we're at in life, and that will in turn make us more successful in finding a mate. So sometimes we like what we think we are, but we're not that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I actually, you know, when you know what, when I'm more single, like I said, I'm married now, but when I'm single, I'll be in the best shape of my life. I make sure, you know what I'm saying, I get swole, I'm running, because I know deep down inside I'm a fine nigga. So, but you got to see it. Now that I'm married and everything, you know, my wife already knows, she's already attracted to me and all that. So shit, I ain't got to put as much work in. But I had to make myself be much more appealing when I was single, much more so than now, you know, but I still, you know, I'm back into working out and stuff now, but yeah, I had to, like, you know, when you single, man, you got to look the best that you can be so you can attract what you are at the time. You know what I'm saying? Wow. That's why I think, and I want to add this in too, is that you see a lot of competition, especially with older women these days, right? They know they didn't got older and gravity didn't hit them and everything. So they getting BBLs at an alarming rate. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to upstage these young females. They getting fake titties, eyelashes. I just did a work with this. I ain't even gonna say her name, but she was an older lady, and she had all the shit done with her teeth, eyelash, everything and shit. You know what I'm saying? But she still had that mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you still talking shit like you a grandma, but you got a body like you in college. So the shit don't compute with me. And then, like I said, when we was doing some shit, like some filming and shit, she went upstairs and shit, like she had a loft. Man, I heard her fart and shit. I was like, oh, you nasty motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still an old lady under all that shit. So stop trying to cap. Be who the fuck you are. Like I said, when I remember I met some girl, she had like the perfectly round titties and shit, right? So when I felt them and shit, that felt like balloons, man. Like, what the fuck is that shit? That shit ain't natural. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, it's a competition because they know when looks start falling, they start they get insecure and they try to build themselves up like they fine and shit. But really deep down inside, like I said, you still that same person on the inside, man. I understand you trying to look good, but they trying to act like they fucking dimes and shit. And you know what I'm saying? And
beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Man, shit.
Man, please. Only women say that.
Okay, so, but that's to say that. Okay, so what you stake beauty on what society says. Somebody could call me ugly. You know, I was called ugly all through school, but then now it's like, you look good. I look good to some people. Some people I don't look good to. So I mean, you can't. You know, when it's like pouring it in one bucket, it's like that's a little.
Well, that part I definitely get, but also there are people who it's clear are on different levels also. Yeah. Would you agree to that?
I would.
So yeah, I mean, but I'm glad you guys both brought that up because Chuck's point and your point, mirror those together. To Chuck's point, a lot of people, you attract your match, you attract your equal. But what happens is a lot of us think of ourselves on an elevated level. So we view our match on an elevated level, and then when we attract our real match, we're unattracted. To the point that Kat was talking about, yeah, there is a distinction between certain people. Certain people you can tell, like, okay, she's up here and they're far apart. But the majority of us are all within the same area. The average, and I talk about the average man on a regular basis. I always bring this up. It's the average, and that's where we're thrown off. The beautiful people are still getting together. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
The beautiful people are still getting together. The ugly people are still in relationships. You watch my 600-pound life. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but we being real. Those people are still in relationships. Yeah. Top and bottom. It's the average. It's all looking at each other like, you ain't good enough for me. So my thing is having a realistic a view of who you are in the first place. And one of the best ways to understand where you are in the dating market is by who and what you're attracting. And if you don't like it, change. For women, I'm going to give you a tip. Men are attracted to physical beauty. I don't want to hear no arguments. If you don't like who you attracting, get finer. For my fellas, baby, dollar bill, y'all fellas, listen. Finance is the key. And no, it's not all greenbacks. It's what the greenbacks can ultimately do for you, whether that's a house and a nice car and the ability to take trips and to hear that she needs things and take care of them for her, whatever the case is. But fella, if you don't like what you're attracting, get some more money, get some better cologne, go to the barber, pay $100 for that cut, but get it together. Change what it is that attracts the opposite sex if you don't like what you're attracting, but please don't sit around and complain.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It is a self-love thing. I am a person that goes to the gym now. I will drop and do push-ups around my house when I feel that just the thought sparks into my head. But that's just because I like the way I look in my clothes when I'm a certain weight. It really doesn't have anything to do with the opposite sex because I realize, like you said, there's people that are 600 pounds that are dating, and there's people that are a size 2 that are dating. And I'm falling in that average area. And I just need, if I want something that's exceptional, I got to be exceptional. I got to strengthen my mind. I got to strengthen my body. I got to strengthen my mental health, you know, all those things, so that when you finally get to the person that you feel like I can do this. I can do this. You know, they check some of those boxes. You're already in a place of where you should be, so that it makes it easier for them to come into your life. It's not to say that you're perfect. You know, you still have a lot of things to work on. But if you already got all the other things that you know, like you said, men are visual creatures. They love when a woman,
all of that.
They love when a woman is all curvaceous and stuff. And to your point, yes, BBLs, women will get BBLs because men like big asses. And for the women that don't have big asses, they make fun of those women. I've had one. I was one of those people that was like, I don't want it to look unnatural. I still want to work my body out to make my body fit me. So when I go to the gym and things like that, it's a focus on how my body's going to shape, how it's going to look. So I don't think that it's always bad. I think that BBLs, breast lift, whatever you want to get, it's to help your personal feeling of yourself, because obviously there's some things that you don't like and you want to change, but men like that shit. I can stand up right now.
Well,
look,
let me clean.
Champagne is natural, and then she got a lot of ass. I'm not. It's like Champagne is like But for me, I'm a little taller than Champagne. But I'm telling you that men like it. That's the first thing they look at, is the shape of a woman. Does she have this? Does she have that? You know?
Yeah.
Well, let me clean that up for the crowd, man. Just for the men, the BBL versus natural body conversation, whatever the case. Because we have a lot of that. No, listen, we prefer natural bodies, and we hear that a lot. And people will say, no, they like. I'm gonna tell you now, the preference is a natural body. However, the BBL has a nice shape, has a nice figure. As long as you keep it to yourself, a lot of the times people don't even know, for one. And then for two, it's not that we like hate BBLs or dislike them. It's one of those things where you just don't get, how can I say, you just don't get any credit for it. So for example, women like tall men. If I'm 5'8", and I go get those extensions and I need to become 6'2", you don't look at me the exact same way as you do a nigga that was born 6'2". So it's not that you hate me for getting that knee surgery to make myself taller. It does make me look better technically, but you don't look at me the same way that you look at that 6'2" brother who was born 6'2". So it's not that we hate the shit. It's just that
I think when it looks completely unnatural is what men hate. Because, you know, and I'm not trying to make this like switch the kind of topic or anything, but it's when it's totally unnatural. Some people just are like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
I think that when you do go to get any type of, you should be enhancing what you have, not over enhancing what you have. Because again, you're correct. If I never said anything, people would never know. But that's because I get up and take my ass to the gym. You know what I mean? I do what I'm supposed to do in order to look the way I want to look. But I always find that the men that seem to be attracted are ones that are not where they should be in life. The first thing they ask you is, what do you do? And it's like, oh, well, at the time I was a VP, but now I switched and I'm risk manager. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm in between jobs. Okay. Well, when you get from in between those jobs, then you reach out to me and they get offended by that because if I'm where I'm supposed to be or where I want to be and I want somebody to come in that is at least in the race, they're not in between the race. They're in the race. I'm not saying they got to have what I have. It makes them more attractive. It really does. To hear a man say, I gotta go to work. That to me is so sexy. That's like whispered in your ear, like, sweet love notes, I got to get up and go to work. I'll see you tomorrow.
I know that's right.
Yeah. All right. Look, he's going to work, I don't know. That's like for a man to hear when a woman says, I'm about to cook dinner and fix you a plate. You be like, is she about to cook me dinner and fix me a plate? Like it's those things. So I just think that people need to take the time to get to know each other. And then you'll know if the person you really like versus smashing everybody until you get to.
Right. And, I think that, when we talk about attraction and things like that, again, those are things that can get you to get the door open, but it's not going to sustain the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think that people are overly looked at, like, doing the BBLs and all that stuff, thinking that they're going to find a husband. Most of the women that got BBLs don't got no husband. You know what I'm saying? Because of the attitude that they bring with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, because remember, as a man, as a man, we're looking for a safe space to land with a woman. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that we know ain't going to be cheating and things like that. Women with BBLs, they're going to flex that ass online. You know what I'm saying? If you get a BBL, you're going to put it on display. Come on now. So those are really, like I said.
Look, you make me want to get up and be like, clap, 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 clap.
It's real. And like I said, as a man, I don't want no woman that's out here flexing they shit. I want that. That's for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want
if a woman goes to the gym, let's say it's real. Let's say, you make me want to change that topic. Now let's say it's real, and she going to the gym and she doing what she's supposed to do.
Listen,
but perking and she gonna flex her body.
Right. But listen. But what I'm saying is the way you do it, how you move matters. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you got a body, you showing your, you can't help but show your body in some form of fashion. But if you sleazy with it and you showing your cheeks and shit, and we don't want to marry. That's not what we want to marry. You know what I'm saying? These young foolish athletes be wanting to date these strippers chicks. You know what I'm saying? And they be getting all their money fleeced. But all I'm saying is the attitude and what you bring and things like that matter for sustaining relationships. And you know what I'm saying, as far as a man concerned who's looking for a wife. You know what I'm saying? Really? The BBL ain't gonna care. It's just like in film school, right? Even if you got a great camera, if you don't know how to use the motherfucker, then it ain't gonna do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So if you have tools and you still got this bitchy, independent attitude and shit, and you know what I'm saying? Hey, you just go out with your girls to Jamaica and shit, ride the ponies and shit. You know what I'm saying? And y'all do y'all thing. But if you want a man, work on your attitude, man. Because like I said, look, man, I want peace, man. I don't want somebody I got to argue with and shit. And, I got to worry about if she's going to give us some side like that. Yeah, I don't
but that's vice versa. We want a man that's not going to gaslight. We want a man that's not going to be giving side.
Okay. See? Exactly.
So, and I've been there. Like I said, I've been in a lot of situations. I know I don't look like it, but I'm 47. I've been in relationships, had some children, and I honestly have seen it to where I understand why people say that they're sitting still, or they're being a little bit more selective in their dating process, because you're just tired of giving your best to someone that says they want your best, only to have it trampled over. That is the worst thing, is that when you actually come with your A game and you are exuding all those things that somebody wants, and then they still turn around and do all the things that they know is going to break the relationship or the trust or whatever the case may be. That's the sucky part,
Yeah.
And then you know what? But by the time you get to like Cat's age, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure that, I ain't trying to be funny, but a lot of people have loved and lost, by that time a couple of times over. So especially and even as men, but more so as women, they get more particular and more picky as they get older. You know what I'm saying? And if you got anything that reminds them of any past trauma, they will drop you like a bad habit real quick after they got what they want out of you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think, when you're going through life, man, and all of life's challenges, a lot of times you're going to have baggage, man. You know what I'm saying? And the older you get, the harder it is for you to actually change and actually have somebody in your space. You know what I'm saying? If you're used to being alone and now all of a sudden somebody else comes into your space, you have to adjust to it. And and as we get older, we're more consistent as we're older, and we want things to remain the same. But you got to be able to, that's why they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's real, because when you get older, you are used to things being said in a certain way. And if you haven't had a man or been in a relationship, it's a very hard thing to deal with, as you get older. So I suggest, people that are older, you gotta have an open mind about things, man. You got to change, your ways, and you got to accept somebody in your space, because it's very difficult. And I understand that. That's why older women are very hard to deal with, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, especially if they got their own shit, they don't really need you for nothing. All they want from you is your sex or whatever the case may be, or companionship. And it's hard to be a man to an older woman who's already set. It really is.
Yeah. So listen, man, attraction is a tricky thing. And to Chuck's point, as you grow with age, you do have to become more open-minded. Your mindset is key. I heard this maybe like a year or two ago. Somebody had put it well, and they were talking about the dating phases, and they were talking about man and woman dating phases, and they said intro, you meet, first date. They said that women look for reasons to exclude, while men look for ways to differentiate. So, for example, as a man on a date, you're looking for ways to differentiate this woman from other women that you've met. As a woman, you go on that first date, a lot of the times you're looking for reasons to exclude. Too short, not this enough, too many kids, etc. The key is in mindset. Because the issue is often that we put ourselves on these elevated levels mentally, we attract our matches, and then because we're on this elevated level mentally, when our matches come to us, we don't like who likes us. Meanwhile, we're chasing after the people on this elevated level, and we're not getting that same energy back, and we can't understand why. So in those instances, it's a mindset thing. If you open your mind to being open to a lot more possibilities, a lot of the times you will find your match, because to Kat's point, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You don't have to be a 10 to get a husband. Nobody ever said that. 2's got husbands, 5's got husbands.
I had to realize, and that's the mindset. Like I am one of those women that I'm average height. I do want somebody, when I put my heels on, that, I'm still shorter than them. However, I recently had the pleasure of dating someone, and I told him that. I said I normally wouldn't have gone with somebody that's, not as that's as short as you. And he was like, I wouldn't have gone with somebody that apologizes as much as you. So we were able to kind of get those out, because I'm a person that's always like, I'm sorry. And I found when I finally started listening to myself, he was right. And so now I don't apologize as much.
Yeah.
But he can't change his height. Is he a good guy? Yes. Are we compatible in some cases? Yes. But there's some things that now I'm like, you're able to focus on a little bit more of, is this going to be the person that I can bring to my family? Is this going to be a person I can bring around my kids? If you have stepped the line of doing the deed and stuff like that, that's fine. But now it's like, do I keep doing the deed, or was this just a passing? And so that's, I think, how you end up with they like you, but they like you for maybe a superficial reason. I like the way she feels, and she'll be like, I like the way he makes me feel, but not necessarily I like him in my life, in my space,
Yeah, you're using for what you can get out of him, right?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of these situationships are, is what can I get out of him?
Yeah.
What can I get out of her? And what this other person, that's why people have multiple people that they're dealing with, because they may get the cooking from somebody, they may get the head from somebody, they may get this from somebody. And it's like, but these multiple people make up the perfect person, and I'm never alone. And I think that's a crazy way to deal with life, because at some point in time, we all get old, we all get, there's life and there's death, and you want somebody that's going to be there with you when the time comes. You want to be able to share your highs and lows with somebody, and not just somebody that is an option in your life, but a priority.
Right, that's true. And let me I'm gonna give y'all some game too, okay? We were talking about the 600-pound life, right? And I'm gonna just talk about relationship dynamics, right? You can get a person, if you're looking for beauty or somebody that's handsome or whatever the case may be, you can actually achieve that. But what you have to do is you have to have an advantage in certain areas. What I've noticed when I'm watching 600-pound life, when you got a real big fat girl, right, 600 pounds, and she got a dude that's normal size, right, and halfway handsome dude, she's normally much more intelligent than the guy. It's always like that. The fat person is always more intelligent than the skinnier person. You see what I'm saying? So if you find somebody with lower intelligence, you can actually pull that person because they need your help doing certain things. I know this one dude, all right, in high school, right? Man, this dude, look, bro, he had the finest woman in the damn school, and he was ugly, bro. But she was stupid. And I'm going to tell you, the first time he gave me a ride to the crib, right, his car got broken into, right? So, he was like, go ahead and get in the back seat, right? So I get in the back seat, and then his girl get in and shit. And she's like, she get in the car like, where are the speakers that they stole? I'm like, the fuck you mean? They're gone.
Right.
She was dingy. So that's what I'm saying. He had a low intelligence female, but she was bad. But, he could guide her. He had things that, that he liked. He had his stuff together. He was one of the first people that had a car. He had a job at a young age, and she respected that, and he pulled it. So guys, ladies, find somebody. If you're just looking for beauty or somebody that's handsome, find somebody with lower intelligence that you can actually pull and achieve. I'm trying to tell you, go back and look at the shit, man.
Listen,
straight up.
Listen, you're not completely wrong.
You're not.
Because in reality, like, we are all attracted to somebody who can elevate us to the next level. How many men have said they'll take Oprah Winfrey down? I'll take Oprah down right now. Why do we say that? Because the association with her is an extreme advancement of level. So I mean, it's not all the way wrong. We don't like all the words you used, right, Kat? We don't like all the words you used, but you ain't all the way wrong, brother. You ain't all the way wrong.
I agree. I agree. Look, let me get a little tap for that. I agree. Your wording. Yeah, there is always going to be something that someone else has that's going to help you elevate. For me, I want somebody that's his faith is elevated further than mine. So it's somebody I can talk to about my journey, my walk through what I'm going through. It's not for the financial, because he has a house like I have a house. He has a car like I have a car. But it's really somebody I can connect with on a different level, because I believe I think we all tend to believe we can put it down in the bedroom. That's not a problem for me. I don't have a problem there. I have a problem with connecting with somebody that can really just conversate with you and be okay with the one person. So it's like, let me go ahead and focus on that. Can this person talk to me and really be open with me? Can I be open with them? And then we go from there. So if it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, I guess it just takes that time.
Right.
I'm sorry, I got a phone call.
No, don't worry about it. Do your thing. We know you're busy. but yeah, man. Look, like I said, man. It's really tough out here. Because we all. I mean, everybody wants somebody that's beautiful and things like that. But everybody can't get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's and I feel sorry for and that's the thing too, man. Like, I always like, it's always like the ugly person that be hating the most too, because they're not able to access the same type of females that we had. All the ugly friends that I had when I was in high school, they was always haters, bro, because the women that like me, you know what I'm saying? And when I was hanging around dudes that girls like more than me, I wasn't a hater because I knew I was getting my fair share. But the ugly people was always the haters, man. My mom even told me this back in the day because one of her friends was like that. But you just, man, I mean, listen, man. Like I said, if you ugly, you like Dante said, man, you got to get your money up. You have to have an equalizer. Like I said, sometimes when you can't calculate stuff, you have to solve for X too. Because like I said, I remember like my cousin, she brought this, some raggedy garbage nigga to the barbecue. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, what the fuck you doing with this dude? You know what I'm saying? And all that shit. And then I heard her whisper to my other cousin, like, oh, he got a big day. You know what I'm saying? So that was the solve for X. He had something that
she was missing that she wanted.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes that's that what might be the difference between you pulling somebody that might be out of your league, but you have something to offer that that they value. So that's all you got to do.
That's a big key because like Kat mentioned about looking for that spiritual connectivity. She values that over a lot of other things right now. So if you can come in and maybe you don't have the height or maybe you don't have the whatever, but you do have that, you do get a lot more cool points for that. And it makes sense. Just like kind of Chuck, you were talking about, somebody come in and it's like, he got that. I don't want to say that, man. That's nasty. But that's what she was looking for. And it was like, he was filling the gap. You know what I mean?
Right.
If all you want out of your relationship is sex, then you should get somebody that sex you and puts you to sleep. If you want to get somebody that financially takes care of you, then you need to find somebody that's financially well off so they can take care of you. And you need to be in upfront about your intentions. Me, I want somebody to be able to actually be present, and the financial will come, the intimacy will come, all of those things will come if you're present. You can communicate.
Girl, please talk about you.
I know, but I'm just saying.
You trying to get it? You trying to get a date? Kat been trying to get the date to Harold show.
Look, hold on. Let me say this. Anybody watching, if you would like to date,
don't do that. No, but I mean that's some real stuff, man. And if you can get someone out of your league, if you are able to fill that gap, that was some knowledge you actually dropped on us, Chuck. If you think about, for example, famous women, Taraji P. Henson, Vivica Fox, famous women will often sit there and tell you like, all I need is emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, don't give me that. And if you can come in and fill that gap, you don't have to be on her level, on her league. Good point.
She'll take care of you. She will spoil you and take care of you because you are filling
you fill that right gap.
Exactly what she needs. She doesn't need you to pay her bills. She got her bills,
Right.
And I think, but men, I'm not gonna say all men. People get upset with that. They feel like, well, you're using me. Well, no, this is what I need you for because I'm gonna give you what you need. And if what you need is sex, somebody to give you peace, somebody to give you that emotional stability, then I'm meeting all of those things. So then you should be able to meet. If that one thing is financial, then meet that. If you're not willing to, then walk away and go to somebody else that can fill those things. And you don't have to fulfill that particular role.
Yeah, guys, this should be any relationship that you're in should be mutually beneficial. Yep. That means that you are receiving benefit. There's no harm in that. Once they hear you're benefiting from him, absolutely.
Right.
For me too. Like that's what a relationship is supposed to be.
So I would say that nobody brings the table, you build the table.
Right, that's right. Okay, y'all. We're about at the end of our time. And before we leave out of here, we definitely want to just say, happy Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth.
Right. So, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers. We didn't get the shout out last week either, man. For all of the fathers out there doing it, trying to raise our kids the right way. Happy Father's Day that, if somebody else didn't tell you that, because a lot of times as men, we're not valued. And, and we need to be valued because we're very important. But, okay. So any final thoughts before we get up out of here, y'all? Let's start with Dante. What you got?
Cool. I got one for y'all, man. Listen, Attraction is key. If you're not attracting who you want to attract, then that means you need to change things within you to be able to attract those people. Please don't sit and stoop with a pool full of people that you don't desire. If you feel like you're top tier or better than that, then get down, get dirty, make that elevation in life, and you will attract, in fact, who it is that you want.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Kat? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts, invest in yourself and be able to build that table when it's time to build that table with the right person. But invest in yourself.
Okay, nice. My final thought is, listen, all you got to do a lot of times, man, like I said, is just change your attitude, and you better like who likes you. Shit. Like, why would you not like who likes you? Like, you know,
hard.
Yeah, so that's the first thing I'm looking for. Is this a genuine connection? I'm not gonna fuck with you if I think you trying to just use me and you really don't genuinely care about me. That's what we need to start there from the beginning anyway. So never like someone who don't like you. You know, if they value you and everything, and you guys have a solid foundation. But like I said, if it's just an attraction thing, that's not going to be something that sustains a relationship. But listen, that's our time. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Please come back next week at the same place, same time. We appreciate y'all again. Peace.
Peace out. Oh, shit.
This is my father, Big Chuck. He taught me the pimp mentality from the crib, so I was never faithful in any relationship. Until one day, 6 years ago, I looked at all the broken hearts and pain that I caused and decided it was time to level up. So now I'm a happily married man who still doesn't stand for the trick mentality that is destroying our community.
I'm Champagne, a single woman on a journey to build a life rooted in self-love, balance, and authenticity. I'm exploring the ups and downs of personal growth, embracing independence, and creating space for joy, peace, and purpose. Whether you're on a similar path or just curious about the ride, this is your space to feel seen, inspired, and empowered.
I'm Dante. I'm the realest of the group. I'm once married and now divorced and dating as a single father. Here to bring a grounded perspective, pushing past all the fluff and get into the heart of what really matters.